that that vehicle is authorized to be on the flight line. All right, fully support, and I'm sure that the commercial aviation side on the north end of the airfield has the same thing, where they have vehicles that from time to time are obviously not service vehicles of that sort of nature, but are vehicles that are clearly marked and obviously belong or are obviously authorized to be out onto the ramp. And I would support that same thing at Millionaire and on the GA side, for you collectively to get together as GA pilots and talk about how could we still, if I can't drive my POV, but I still need to get to my airplane, how can we collectively get together and have some sort of a service, if you will, some sort of a method to get us to and from aircraft if I can't drive my POV out there. All right? I don't know that I can be any more clear about, I'm not going to make a distinction between the T hangars and the hangars themselves. I understand, believe me, as a GA pilot, that those hangars are expensive. I understand that many of the GA pilots will use those hangars as other storage and things like that, and there's going to be a one-off in here where somebody keeps their 65 Corvette or their 57 T-Bird in their airplane hangar. One, because they make a fantastic picture, right? I mean, you get a car like that in an airplane. But two, because there's just not room. I got it, all right. But I don't think that's what we're talking about here. What we're talking about is driving for the comfort and convenience of the GA pilots to be able to drive their POVs to their aircraft on the airfield itself, inside of the perimeter gate. As the individual who's responsible for the security of the airfield, I have to say no. Be clear, this has nothing to do with whether or not I trust or I believe that there's a threat within the GA community. It's got nothing to do with that. It's got everything to do with the unfettered, uncleared access to the airfield. There are too many threats out there that if I don't know that that vehicle belongs there because it's clearly marked or has lights or something like that, then that vehicle, whether it's driven by my mother or my daughter or somebody else, to my airfield security people, that vehicle is a threat on the airfield. All right? Sir.
Donald, yeah, he's a private pilot. My question is are you telling us what you're saying is that we have to have a dedicated shuttle service to go to the T hangars now, and have it licensed through you to be operational on there?
Doesn't have to be licensed in any way, but go ahead.
Well, what I'm saying is, you're saying we need to co-op all the pilots that are out here on the apron, and that we need to get some other kind of service. Well, I'm not going to pay Millionaire to shuttle my stuff out in the back of a pickup truck. I want to know that I have something there dedicated where he wants to borrow it, the keys are in it, use it. I mean, I've got some golf carts, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
But I want to know who I have to go through to get authority to have them on the ramp.
Okay.
You or them?
Yeah, I would talk to. Here's what I would do: is I would talk to Millionaire, I personally, or my security folks, because as I said, I mean, we can make arrangements for vehicles to be authorized out there, and I like the golf cart idea. The golf cart idea is a great idea, right? Because those vehicles, my idea would be that they're marked in some fashion, whether they got a light or a flag, or
they have to have a flag,
or a chicken, or I don't care. I mean, they got some sort of barnyard animal or whatever it is. There's some way that they're easily identifiable as a vehicle that's authorized to be out there, and after that, I mean, then it's all well and good. I mean, honestly,
a lot of the GA pilots, we work on our own planes.
I understand,
and we can't. Sometimes we can't afford to lug everything 250 yards. I'm old. I can't do it.
Well, you're not that old. But I do understand. But I understand. And that's why I'm saying I'm not saying no, but I'm saying that there must, from my point of view.
Well, there's an alternative, is what I'm asking. But I want to know who I have to go through to get authority to get this vehicle, because I'm sure you're going to have some kind of inspection. Do I have to go through the airport board or through you?
Again, the inspection, I mean, is assuming we are assuming, of course, that that they would be used in much the fashion in the uncontrolled portion of the you're not going to drive around the taxiways.
I want to be able to shuttle my tools and my baggage out of the plane, and then
Chuck, is there, I mean, can you think of any, we don't have to do any, is there a certification process? I mean, is there a,
I mean, we license people on.
Yeah, you guys, security
For
wise?
those kinds of operations on our side of the airport, we have a lot of procedures in place. And in fact,
Go ahead, Rick.
the next thing to get into is I want to brief you on our procedures to talk about this in more detail and address some of your concerns.
Okay.
Colonel Kuckuk, is there a date certain?
I would like that to begin now, okay, because I now have special access program certified hangars on my airfield. And
Less than 30 days.
yeah, so let's make it, you know, we'll set a, even 1 November, or let's make a date, but we'll make a date, okay? 1 second. I wanted to make that clear, Keith, or Craig, sorry, is absolutely right. Let's, you know, and there's my position and then there's your procedures. I don't want to, anything I say infringe on your procedures. It's your side of the airfield, I got it. So, to be clear about that, I'm not trying to make rules
I
for it.
understand.
Okay? Sorry, Jim.
What we had a couple of years back was we were escorted in with our own private vehicles. Would that be a pending?
But escorted by whom?
Usually, well, with Bedco at the time,
Okay?
but they'd escort us to our hangars or fuel our trucks or whatever we needed. And that was with our POV. They'd come out with their line truck and escort us in.
See, and my answer to that would be, why don't we just ride in the line truck? Because the line truck's authorized to be out there. It's authorized, I mean, it can, I mean, if that's the situation, then I would ask you to ride in the line truck.
Well, yeah, but I got a fuel tank in the back of my truck.
Okay, yeah, I mean, there's, then maybe, I mean, there's exceptions to every rule. Well, of course, you don't have the same problem.
No, I don't.
Here,
I'm
but,
just saying
but-
that that's the way it used to be in the past, where you were escorted on with your own POV, drop your stuff off, take your truck back out, your car back out, and park it, and then come walk back in.
I think that we could, again, I would defer to Craig. I mean, there's exceptions to every rule. There's you know, individuals that carry their own fuel around. You know, can what we're looking at here is your typical POV, I guess. I'll leave that to you guys because there's going to be eaches that I can't answer. You know, again, you know, something like I can't answer handicap access or people with special needs. Certainly, there's going to be people with special needs. Heaven forbid I would ever make a rule that prevents people with special needs from getting out. I mean, seriously, I don't want to do that. I want everybody to be able to enjoy aviation and that sort of thing. And so there's going to be eaches and one-offs that are going to be exceptions. But the point being this: if it's not easily identifiable from my tower or my security personnel who patrol the airfield and whose job it is to maintain that, then you could say, hey, that car ain't supposed to be here. So, and again, it's important that y'all know I'm not allowed to drive mine, and nobody on my side of the base is allowed to drive their POV onto the flight line, ever. So we do have vehicles that go, but they're designed to do that.
Now, my question is, has it ever been explored the possibility of moving the perimeter fence or having a boundary fence between the two sides of the airport that would effectively do the same thing as restricting the POVs on the civilian side if you had another fence? Or you relocated the fence further inward?
Sure.
The answer to that question is yes. That was part of the procedures that we looked at, some of the alternatives that we looked at in coming up with our current policy. And in fact, it might help if I go ahead and give you this briefing now, and it may answer a lot of those questions.
If you'd like to, and then again, I'm going to remain. So if you guys have more questions or throughout, I'm happy to listen. So I'll sit down for now.
One of the things I wanted to mention is that Albert has asked that we, as you all know, we have new security measures that have been put in the last month or so. And Albert felt that it was time for us to review what we were doing to see if it could be improved upon and so on. And Craig will give us a presentation. We're going to get as much input as we can from you folks, and we'll distill it, put it all together, and see if we can, how we go about meeting your needs as closely as we can. It's going to be tough to have a committee meeting here because this is